Are you ready for this? Ghosts.
Spirits.
More accurately, spirits. Okay. As you know, before I met you, I never believed in ghosts or spirits.
That's true.
I do believe in God.
That is true.
That was enough for me. I didn't acknowledge any other sort of supernatural power or form in this realm until that fateful summer night with you in my hometown of Oklahoma City. I believe it was your first trip to what you thought was going to be the land of covered wagons.
Yeah, covered wagon land, yes.
And Pony Express,
yes.
right? That's how they get the mail in Oklahoma City, by Pony Express.
By Pony Express in Oklahoma City.
We're landing, and she's looking down
I said to him, wow, this is interesting. And he said, they don't have covered wagons anymore.
Yeah, they don't have covered wagons.
I said, I didn't think they did. But
Oklahoma City. You're a good girl.
Hazel will go to Oklahoma City one day.
Doing a good job.
Anyway,
good job.
Back to the spirit story.
So the first night we were there,
We
close friend of mine
house. Yeah.
from childhood, from junior high school, was out of town, he and his family. And so he just said, just stay at our house.
Right.
They have this huge house, nothing but room upstairs.
But we don't like staying with other people, so we like to stay in a hotel.
We didn't know each other that well yet.
Right, but I still don't like staying in somebody's house.
Okay,
neither do
we
you.
would have known each other for about 7-8 months. Maybe.
Yeah, so that's long enough to know. You don't like staying in a house.
I don't.
And
I don't.
Do
in fact, this is the last time we tried.
We ever stayed in somebody's house.
So we unpack.
Right.
We dress for bed. We get into bed
right.
in the room I had always stayed in pre-you when I visited them in the summer to play golf. It used to be their daughter's room, now vacant. She was gone and gone away. She grew up.
Gone.
Yeah.
Got married.
Yeah. And first we're being somewhat intimate in bed.
We're making out on the
couch,
on the bed.
On the bed, yes. And
it was really weird.
And she is, she's creeped out.
Right. I thought, truth, hand to whoever, I felt something above me staring down from the ceiling.
She did.
It was a very weird feeling I'd never had before, and I never had it again.
She got the creeps, and she did not like it.
It was a weird feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we attempt to go to sleep. Lights out. I do fall asleep for maybe, I don't think very long, 20, 30 minutes.
I was going to say 10 minutes.
Maybe 10. And all of a sudden, I hear, as if it's next to me, a voice that at the very least was coming from just outside the window. We're on the second floor.
Right.
And it was clear as day to me
and it's
in the
a
middle of
neighborhood.
Night. And it's a very quiet neighborhood. Hey, you! Like that.
It was hey.
Hey, not you. I'm sorry. I put the you.
Hey,
and you were,
you. It was hey. You. And then you heard a dinging.
I did. But the hey was so powerful that it just, I'm not a light sleeper. I mean, I can sleep through most things, but this was right in my ear. Hey, you.
Right.
I'm like,
and then I woke
up. And now I'm creeped.
We were just startled.
And I'm scrambling. And then I'm looking down into the backyard. You can see from the second floor window into the backyard. And there was a floodlight on in the backyard. I couldn't see a thing.
It was quiet.
And then
it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah. And I look at her.
We were like,
and she looks at me and says,
and we're
out of here.
We were like, it was like the house was on fire.
Yeah.
And so we quickly threw on clothes, and there was a bat in the baseball bat.
Yeah.
You grabbed the baseball bat.
I grabbed the baseball bat.
And
it's,
we didn't grab
the
any
hall
clothes
upstairs
or anything.
is a really long hall.
And at the end of the hall is a full-length mirror. So it was like a fun house.
She says mirror with no R on the end.
It's a mirror. I'm sorry. That's the way you say mirror.
But it's okay. Mirror.
And it was like a fun house, and we were running down the hall, seeing ourselves in the reflection.
It's kind of a shining hall, like red rum hall.
Yeah, it was like The Shining.
Right. And it's one of those where you keep waiting to see
two twins
coming at you, right?
Red rum. And we get to and then it's a winding staircase down to the front door. And we get down, and then we were like, it's like an Abbott and Costello. We were like creeping, looking to see if anybody's around. And then we quickly opened up the front door, and the car was parked in the circular driveway. And we got in there really fast. It was like,
we didn't pack.
We didn't pack anything.
No.
And then we drove to the Marriott and we checked in.
There's a Marriott like 10 minutes away.
And the woman goes, do you have any
Northwest
luggage?
Highway, if you know Northwest Highway in Oklahoma City.
She goes, do you have any luggage? We're like, no. We don't even have a toothbrush.
You don't?
No, we were running from
I think she was a little suspicious.
It was kind of weird. We just blew in. We need a room.
Yeah. So we went back the next day and repacked.
Right.
And stayed
then
at the
Marriott. Then the question was, do we tell his friends
them?
Who were coming back that
night?
But
we didn't tell them immediately.
No.
I don't think we told them until our next trip.
Like another year.
Another year. And we took them out to dinner at Deep Fork Grill. And, oh, by the way.
Did you ever have any problems with ghosts?
Ghosts?
And Bev, who said, by chance, yes, we did. And so did Sam. Their son.
Yeah, we did. We did. Have
we've
problems.
Heard noises, and
and they were just shrugging it off like, that happens, and then that happens.
Always hear.
And they were just like, so what?
But Craig said no, he wasn't aware of it.
Craig would be oblivious to all of the above.
But they said yes, we have heard noises, and we have heard women's voices.
Okay, so ultimately we moved to Los Angeles. Now it gets really deep creepy because I'm going to go to work out here, and because of the time change, I'm going to have to get up not at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Every single morning I got up weekday morning at 2 a.m. and I did it for 8 straight years until it nearly killed me.
Right.
The first morning, on the first day of launching a new show, I'm up at 2. I'm on the treadmill. I'm prepping.
And we had moved here 3 months before that.
Well, no,
August.
No, we just got here a few weeks before that. Well, not 3 months.
Wait, your show started in September. We moved here in August. So it's like 3 to 4 weeks.
First. It was about 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. Okay. So we're in this place, which at that point we were renting because we didn't know exactly where we wanted to land.
Right.
And it's a nice place, but it's new and it's different, and LA is completely different for both of us, even though I lived out here for a while right out of college. But it's all new for you.
Yeah.
You're still asleep, obviously. We don't have her yet.
No.
She was about to come on Christmas.
Right.
And as I'm leaving, out by the atrium in this unit, there's a little bench where I kept my bag to take. It's about 5 till 4. And upstairs, there's an upstairs loft that serves as like an attic storage room, right? And it's slanted with the roof. And we had gym equipment up there in the room opposite it. I hear just like that.
Right.
Pretty close to that. Yeah. It might have been a touch lighter than or have a little more tin in it than that. But it's
right.
I'm like, what was that? They're doing work on a mall nearby here at that point. They're revamping it, refurbishing, and I thought maybe even at 5 till 4, maybe they're doing some early construction, and we didn't know the neighborhood that well. No, and I thought, this can't be.
Yeah.
Next morning, 5 till 4. Right. Here we go again.
Right.
That was it.
Right.
My watch brought the correct tone to it. I'm like, what? And later I come back and I tell you, I
no,
think,
you didn't do that. No, you called my sister. So
okay,
he calls my sister.
Okay, yeah, I told her
first. He calls my sister,
I did, Joyce,
who my sister said
she
was in the shower and she was all soaked up and she sees her cell phone ringing that Skip is calling. And she immediately thought something happened to me. So she runs out and she gets the phone and she says, what's the matter? And he says, I just wanted to say something to you, but don't tell your sister. I think there's a ghost in the house. And my sister was just like, okay, I have to just rinse off the soap. I'll call you back. So they talk about that there's a ghost in the house, but don't tell me. But my sister, being my sister, calls me later that day and she says, don't tell Skip, but I'm telling you, there's a ghost in your house. So I was prepared for this ghost in my house. So he comes back that afternoon and he says to me, okay, I don't want you to be upset.
Yeah, I don't want to alarm you, but
there is something weird going on here. There could be a ghost.
So we both go up to this storage room, open the door. It's dark, it's dusty, it's creepy. Right. And I find what looks like a broom handle.
Yeah, it was like without the broom on it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, witch? You know, is this a witch's coven upstairs? Right. And I take the broom handle and I bang it on that floor and create the exact same noise that I had heard twice in a row at 5 till 4.
You heard it more than 2 times. Yeah, I think you heard it like for a week week straight.
I kept trying to deny it.
Yeah, I think it was for a week.
And like, this is impossible. Now I believe there is something, there's some apparition up here that we don't know about.
So then we decide to find out who lived in the condo before us, because that's probably who the ghost is and they want to come back, but we're living there. So he convinces me and he says, this is the person that's lived here before. They're trying to get us to move out because they want to get back in here, even though they're a spirit. So he's like, we're going to have to talk to this woman. So the woman's name was Francine. So he said, we have to go upstairs. We're going to have to talk to this woman in the closet.
No, but we checked on the background. No, this was before. Francine.
Right. Okay. Francine lived there. So he says, we're going to have to talk.
No, but didn't we check on whether she was alive or
not?
No,
that came later. So we start doing this. We're going to talk to Francine.
I read on the internet.
He says, we have to talk to Francine.
You can talk to spirit.
Right. So we're in the room, Francine. We don't
I made her
mean
go up
any
and talk
harm.
to Francine.
Francine, we are just here to live here. Yeah. You can stay with us. Just don't bang in the morning.
Please don't
I have
bother
to go to work.
In the morning. Yeah.
Whatever.
I was just
and then
trying
in the
to
middle of
reason
that,
with the spirit.
Yeah, but in the middle, I get a phone call from our realtor who I asked whatever happened to Francine, and she hadn't got back to me. So we were doing this little seance thing, and she goes, Francine is alive and well and living in Phoenix. And we're like trying to channel Francine when she's dead, and she's not. She's living in Phoenix. So that was the end of that. Like, that's not Francine.
Okay, but we're still so
now we're still,
by this.
What do we
Literally
do?
Spooked. We go on Saturday with said realtor or her partner.
Yeah, we went looking for a place to live.
We went looking for a new place to live because I just couldn't live with this.
Yeah, we don't want to live with ghosts.
Right?
Right. So then I had a shaman who I loved, who was the real deal, and his name was Joseph, and he passed since then. Him. But he was real. Like, I don't care what anybody ever says about. But they talk about.
He convinced me.
Yeah, people that read horoscopes. He wasn't that. He was real. He connected with past people, and I called him.
He's a big believer in higher power.
Yeah, I called him and I said, we're having this weird sound. He said, you need to contact this woman that I know who deals with spirits, and she can help getting rid of them. Mm-hmm. So Skip emailed her.
And I felt really awkward and weird, but she said, I can help you.
I just need the address.
And I'm like, she lives on the East Coast. And I'm thinking, you can remove a spirit from our place way out in Los Angeles.
Well, it's just the way I can change a game in Atlanta.
That's true. I didn't think of that. Touché.
That's the same thing.
Okay, you got me.
So only mine is fake and this is real.
I'm going to read you the email that this spirit remover sent to me a day later. You ready for this?
Buckle up.
This is from her. I took the time tonight to send your wayward earthbound spirit home. He has crossed over and won't be bothering anyone again. He told me that he died in battle in 1528.
Wow.
He was very angry at himself for being caught unaware when he was hit in the heart by an arrow through the back. He was most upset for leaving his mother and 2 sisters, who he was taking care of, since the death of his father. This is just
so wild.
He was afraid of what would happen to them without him.
Aww, so sad.
He'd stayed near his family until their deaths. After this, he began traveling and ended up at your place. He had felt at home there, except for the people who also lived there.
Us.
The name I was given is Gavin, but no last name. Gavin appreciated your acknowledgement of his presence, but wanted the place to himself. He volunteered to cross over, especially when he realized his parents and sisters were waiting for him.
Oh, so sad.
And this woman continued in the email. After he crossed over, I searched your condo for other spirits who could be lingering there, and to my surprise, I found an infant.
We had heard, remember, we heard a baby crying.
We heard a baby crying, and we thought it was next door, but the walls are thick, and there's no baby in this
They're older
area.
people.
Yeah, okay. She says she found an infant. The baby was a girl who died in a miscarriage or an abortion. This baby last died within the last 5 to 10 years. Its physical body wasn't fully formed, but her soul was fully intact. She didn't cross over because of the abrupt end to her life.
Wow.
She was in shock because she'd been looking forward to her life with her chosen parents, and a deep sadness had set in. She was carried gently into the light to cross over. She will one day come back again, and her emotional turmoil and sadness is gone. I've learned during this work that once we cross over, the emotions we experience on earth do not exist while with God. Emotions like guilt, fear, anger, sadness, etc., are only experienced while we're on earth or earthbound as a spirit. Emotions make it harder to learn our lessons, or the reason we came here to start with.
And he was taking care of this baby. Remember, she said that he was watching over the baby.
Okay.
That is powerful.
We were
You
rocked.
Can't make that up. This
No.
is not something that you can make up. And we never heard a bang again.
We never heard a bang again, nor a baby crying in that unit. And then, 4 years later, we moved to our current abode. And right away, I began hearing children like laughing and sort of cutting up, playing, just having fun.
So did I. We were sitting in the living room one night, and we heard it coming from where the washing machine, the laundry room.
Yes.
We heard that. We thought it was somebody had kids in the hallway.
It'd just be a whiff of it in the air. You'd hear it like that was just right there.
Yeah.
Like that. They were just right here. They were 10 feet away.
We thought it was maybe somebody in the hallway, their grandkids or something, but it wasn't.
No.
So we got Brenda back on speed dial.
Okay. So we did contact this woman, and she did find that there were 3 children living in our unit as spirits who had died in, and I couldn't remember this.
The 20s, I thought it was, wasn't it?
The 1920s. In a fire.
In a fire.
First I thought it was a flood, but I think you're right.
It was a fire. Yeah.
And
there were 3 sisters.
Yes. And she successfully removed the 3 sisters, and right on schedule.
We never heard it again.
We didn't hear another peep. So, bottom line, I do believe in spirits.
I think a lot of
even
people,
though I believe in God.
I don't think it has anything to do with God. It just has to do with what is real. I think a lot of people hear things in their house, apartments, wherever, and they just shake it off. Yeah. And yet I know a lot of people that say, oh yeah, a light goes on in my house every night. I know people that live where there was a suicide, and spirits linger. When I did my book, I met someone who was writing a book, and they worked with John Edwards, John Edwards who connects spirits.
Psychic.
And she wrote a few books with him, and she told me he is the real deal. Just like our friend Joseph, there are people that can connect. I have a very special sixth sense.
She does.
I have a power beyond the jinx thing for real.
I think it feeds
where
into
I
the
can
jinx.
predict things. I can, if I think of someone that I haven't seen in 20 years and I think about them, I will pass them on the street, or they will call me out of the blue. I know when something's going to happen before it's going to happen. So I have a little bit of that. When I talked to Joseph, our shaman, about that, he said, you have a special power that you should hone in.
He did.
And you should read. He gave me the names of a couple of books to buy. But I think people have that and they just block it.
Okay.
And so I think probably there are people out there that are watching or listening to this probably can say, I think you're right. I know that. I felt that, people just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And they make it as though it's some kind of weird craziness. It's not.
Ooh. Okay, enough about spirits. Back to the real world. So that's the real world.
Well, that is real.